Hello and welcome to another episode of Quick Bites, the show where we try to tackle all of the restaurant headlines in as little time as possible. I'm Sam Oches, editor-in-chief of Nation's Restaurant News, and I'm joined by my colleague Jonathan Mays, editor-in-chief of Restaurant Business. Jonathan, it's hot everywhere, including in the restaurant industry, right?
Sure, if that's what you call it.
There's heat in the restaurant industry. You just got to look for it. We found some today. There's news today as we speak, Jonathan. We're going to jump right into it. McDonald's and Krispy Kreme. We hardly knew ya. The pairing has unfortunately, they're parting ways. McDonald's and Krispy Kreme. We thought these two were a match made in heaven, but it turns out that is not the case. They are splitting up. Jonathan, what to make of McDonald's and Krispy Kreme going their separate ways?
Well, it was always a difficult partnership from the get-go. If you remember, they had a 3-year ramp up to get Krispy Kreme donuts sold into all of McDonald's locations. McDonald's is the world's biggest restaurant chain. It is all over the place. Krispy Kreme is not all over the place, and it could not deliver all of those donuts every single day to every single McDonald's right away. Problem is that to get the benefit, if you're Krispy Kreme, of that partnership, you really, really need to be, for McDonald's to be able to market that deal. And it was not in enough locations for McDonald's to really start marketing with any strength whatsoever. That created some, so they weren't selling much, and that created profitability concerns. Krispy Kreme's donuts sales started to fall, and they had to end the deal. It was inevitable.
Yeah, I think we have a question of quality here, Jonathan, which is that, Krispy Kreme cannot maintain its quality standards through this McDonald's partnership. And this partnership started all the way back in 2022. I was surprised to see that because it feels more recent than that. But the fact of the matter is that when this deal started and Krispy Kreme announced that they were going to distribute through a select number of McDonald's, it felt like everything was a matter of access. All of the world was going to points of access. When we had virtual brands and delivery off premises, everything was pointing to how many access points can you get for your restaurant company. Krispy Kreme decided to test that theory with McDonald's, and they had lots and lots more access points beyond their locations. But here's the problem. Krispy Kreme is known for turning on that, warm now donut sign and, really emphasizing that kind of quality. And McDonald's operationally just couldn't keep up those quality standards. So I'm guessing that people just decided not to go to McDonald's to get Krispy Kreme. And it's interesting timing because Krispy Kreme also divested in Insomnia Cookies, and they said they're going to invest now in more high volume access points, which means I think they're going to look for more real estate for Krispy Kreme shops.
Yeah, we just every so often we go through this exercise of questioning Krispy Kreme's business model, and we are doing it again. Kind of par for the course, to be perfectly honest. Donuts, tough business. Period. Olive Garden last week reported some surprising sales results. Same-store sales up 6.9%. Sam, what do you make of that? That was probably the biggest surprise of the entire earnings season, probably.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jonathan. I mean, who says casual dining is dead? Of course, we knew Texas Roadhouse continued to kill. We know Chili's is having just this epic year. But the fact of the matter is they're not the only casual dining players that are doing well. And if you look at Darden and what they've done, not only with Olive Garden, but also Longhorn Steakhouse, whose same-store sales were up 6.7%, I think a case can be made that, casual dining in general, there are a number of players that seem to be getting it right. And I think what is key here is, first off, Olive Garden finally embraced delivery. They were one of the last brands to finally go over to third-party delivery. They're partnering with Uber to give away, I think, something like 1 million free delivered meals. They also did a buy one, get one, where you could buy one entree at Olive Garden and get one for free to take with you to go. The point here is that Olive Garden is beefing up its off-premises business, and that's proving it's leading to incremental sales. So I think Olive Garden finally embraced the state of the nation. But more importantly, I think with full services, people want an experience. Olive Garden gives them great hospitality, great experience. Jonathan, what do you think is key here?
No, I think that you're absolutely correct on the experience thing. pretty, I hope you enjoy me calling you correct on anything whatsoever.
I love it. I'm going to record that and keep it to myself.
For sure. It was, the fact of the matter is consumers still like going out to full service restaurants. They might not go to them as frequently as they used to, but they still actually do like the experience when they get the ability to do that and when they have a little money. And I think it's been proven over and over again that these companies with the right marketing, with the right in-store service, with the right food quality can actually make this work. And part of the problem here is that so many full-service restaurants, when sales started to get weak, immediately move over into cost cut mode. And when you go into cost cut mode, it is really, really difficult to get your way out of that. They spent too much time discounting without really backing it up with the type of in-store service that you really need to make this work. Because the fact of the matter is, if I'm going to Olive Garden or whatever full-service restaurant and I get a bad experience, I ain't going back again.
That is so true. There is value in experience. Value does not need to be price point. Value can be experience. Jonathan, you and I both just launched our Top 500 reports, of course, partnering with our friends over at Technomic for the Top 500 report, which you can find over at NRN.com and restaurantbusinessonline.com. Lots and lots to dig into here. The top 500 biggest restaurant chains by sales. What are some of your key takeaways from this year's report?
I'm going to give you my biggest by far takeaway from the entire thing. It's anemic. That's essentially what last year was. The chain restaurant universe. In fact, if you expand it, Sam, not just from the 500, but the entire 1,500, sales growth was just 3%. That, with the sales growth, right? But if you count the fact that menu prices were up roughly 4% last year. Then you had about, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.6% unit growth. You have negative per store traffic in the restaurant space of, negative 2.4%. Essentially, customers are not going to restaurants as often as they used to. They're not going to chain restaurants, at least. And because they just don't see it as quite the value that it's supposed to be. And weakness was pretty broad-based. It was weak. Casual dining was weak. Basically full service was weak, period. Family dining was particularly weak. Fine dining was weak. Fast food was really weak. So it was just anemic.
Yes, and but to spin on that too, I think my biggest takeaway here was that there were big time losers, but big time winners. And if you think about something like the chicken category and the coffee category, it turns out that Americans' desire and thirst for these kinds of concept is insatiable, because when you really dig into who had the biggest growth, it was largely chicken players like Raising Cane's and Wingstop, and also coffee players like Dutch Bros and Seven Brew. These are fast growing restaurant companies. I don't know what to make of it outside of, I think Americans love that indulgence. They love that quick indulgence in the fast food, fast casual chicken, and certainly in the drive-through only beverage category with Dutch Bros and with Seven Brew. But it is fascinating because, to your point, Jonathan, something like 40% of the top 500 had negative sales, even when factoring in inflation. And the fact of the matter is that people are pulling back on their spend because of inflation. But when they go out, apparently they go out for chicken and they go out for coffee. We know the pendulum constantly swings, so who knows what to expect next year. But that is the state of things. All right. Once again, go to NRN.com and restaurantbusinessonline.com to get more from the top 500 and all of the restaurant headlines. He's Jonathan Mays. I'm Sam Oches. We'll talk to you next time.